My name is Paul Thomas. I take discarded material and turn it into haute couture fashion like on the cover of a magazine in Paris. I'm the Recycle King.
I was born in 1960. It was the time of civil rights protests, desegregation, busing. So as I matured as a teenager, my family moved from Walker Home, which was the second Afro-American community in Memphis, built for and built by Afro-Americans. The first is Orange Mound, which I'm a sixth generational, where my father and my parents were born. You know, we had a little something, we can go buy a little something, we can look like we were developed and we had something, which we really didn't, because everybody was poor. So growing up in that community, I was always an outsider. I was totally different from everybody in my family. I was an artsy person. And everybody in my family believed that art wasn't a career. They thought it was you just playing. But I knew that it was part of my ancestry and DNA that I was born with a certain amount of exquisite taste. My mother was a fashion model in the 60s and she bought the most exclusive, even though she worked on a middle class salary, she saved her money. And my father worked for the Postal Service, so he would ride around neighborhoods and he'd see all this stuff on the curb, and then I'll see him take something he found and repurpose, or pipes that was on the street, then he can use them to do plumbing. So I just learned all these trades just watching. I was always a sponge. I had an instinct, but I studied, I watched, I asked people who specialized this. I read books. I couldn't even buy a magazine from the magazine stand, so I would go to the yard sales, and the used magazines that was 4 years old or 5 years old that was 25 cents, I could buy that. And I would buy the magazine and look in the magazine and just dream and read as much as I can and learn who these companies were and learn what they do and how they do. And then once you learn about them, you learn about the pricing and what they cost. And you go to places and see how expensive they are. And sometimes you run across certain things that people don't know or they don't care. They got so much money, that's just something they just, or grandmother died and they just put it in sale. So yard sales, some of the best, but estate sales of fine estates of very wealthy people here in Memphis. Memphis was known for very high-end socialites, so they had to hire. Memphis was a fashion capital, believe it or not. People don't even realize. People in Memphis would dress with the finest everything, black and white community. Memphis was the fashion mecca of the Mid-South. Before Atlanta, before Dallas, the market was Memphis. I mean, the estate sales would have great sales of these people who passed or family were liquidating some of their stuff, and I would identify with it. And I would go in and say, wow. And sometimes I go in the first day and it's one price, and about the third day they may mark it down. And I might have been working 2 months and I saved enough money, so I would buy individual pieces one at a time. So if I bought something that had extreme amount of value at the lowest price I can acquire it. See, they don't even have the sign, but it's right, it's on this street, Hallwood. Maybe it's off the other street. See, they got some cars there. Yeah. A vintage Boy Scout shirt. Size large. But see, that's not nothing I really need for my show. So that's why I was trying to look at stuff that I would normally look for, like quilts. Actually, this is a good one. And it's only $35. It's dirty, but look how it's well made. Look how old it is. And actually that's a good price. It's a twin. But this throws me off. This tells me a certain area, and then this tells me another period. So maybe they trimmed it in another fabric. Okay. So when I'm looking at a sale, I look for stuff like this. That I can do this. Like a for yeah.
I always find something that I'm inspired by. I'm very spontaneous. I'm very quick because it's a challenge. You have other people that are out looking as well.
I look almost everywhere because I never know where stuff is hid. Don't need no paint. Don't need none of that.
So a lot of time people walk by fine art or beautiful rugs. They don't even know the value. I have to be flexible. I may be focused on this today, but the universe said, you need this, and I get the things that I need for the next project. So it's like balancing that, but I always find great things.
Yes!
And at this point in time, I've acquired so much merchandise and so much inventory that I actually go look through my own inventory. If I design something, for instance, I use it for a show, well, guess what? I recycle that too. So I never throw away. I keep things, or I can use it for another show, or I can change it up, put different colors. Now it's a whole different outfit. So I'm always recycling, repurposing merchandise.
Okay. So you can see I can get in here a little bit now, and sometimes I have to clam up and crawl over because I know where things are. My art stuff on this side, and all this is clothes and hats on that side. So you remember my picture from the Clinton Museum when I was commissioned to do the stuff for Coca-Cola? This is the dress made out of shoestrings.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is all shoestrings. This is the bottom. This is the skirt. And I found these at a thrift store, the shoestrings, one big box. And it was enough to make all of this one outfit. So I never know what I'm gonna find. I just let the universe lead me. And then I didn't even know what I was gonna make with it. I just say, you know what, let's see what happens.
I've been acquiring my fashion collection for quite some years. At this point, it's not even currently being displayed. But I'm in the process of talking to people and encouraging them what this opportunity will do for the city of Memphis, and this collection can tour other cities to other museums.
So these dresses were gonna be for my wedding bridal show before the pandemic. And all these dresses were prepared and ready for the wedding show, fashion show at the Brooks Museum. And then we had the pandemic, so everything had to be canceled. So all these dresses was already sized, labeled, and packaged, ready to go.
Got an iPad.
What's new? And remember I was just showing you this at the estate sale? I collect these, so I've got plenty of them. Here in Memphis, I realized there was not an outlet that would accept me. So I got an opportunity to see there was an outlet that didn't have the skills and I could utilize their intuition and their creativity with ideas to be able to practice my skills in creating designs. So I began to work in the underground scene, which is the gay drag scene here in Memphis, which was extremely popular in the 70s, 80s. So I began creating costumes and gowns for entertainers, and that was a job. So I was able to establish myself as a costume designer and create costumes and repurpose costumes as well. So in that process, I ended up working within the pageant scene. The pageant scene is competition. So they have a pageant, and the pageant consists of 4 categories: presentation, sportswear, talent, and evening gown. But I specialize in sportswear and evening gowns. They call me Mattel because I create Barbies. So I can take a football player and make her into the most elegant, beautiful woman you've ever seen. She'll walk like a woman, talk like a woman. She's a lady. So I never did coochie mamas. That's not my lane. I'm class all the way. And I was so good at it, they started traveling and winning all over the country for competitions in Atlanta, Chicago, and most of my stuff came from thrift stores, and I recycled and repurposed, and it was winning top prize all over. Paul Thomas, but then they say, oh, well, his stuff came out the trash, but it still won. And they had Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Bob Mackey's. We didn't have those stores. We didn't have high-end stores that sold gowns. And people who did drag, some of them didn't even have jobs. They didn't even have money. So the gay underground scene created a family for these people, and the pageants were a way for them to feel self-esteem about being better at who they were because their family X'd them out because they were gay. So everything I've ever done in life was trying to motivate and encourage people of who you are right now. Don't accept what anybody say, because everything you do is left up to you. You figure out what you want, and you begin to turn the wheel to achieve whatever you want to happen. But if you don't put anything in it, how the hell you think you're gonna get something out of it? So you've got to put work in. Yeah, that used to be my house, but it was manicured. I was able to acquire one of my dream homes, which was this huge mansion on North Parkway. And when I saw the building, I inquired about the building, and people said, oh, you can't buy that. They're not gonna sell it. We've been trying to buy it for months. I said, really? That was my 4-car garage. Look at all the weeds. They don't cut the grass.
Oh, that's a part of the property too.
Yes, I had all that. Huge backyard, the whole 9 yards.
How many bedrooms?
I had 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. I had a sunroom, and I lived there by myself. And I had it featured in the newspaper. So you saw an article, Julian, that I sent you, Taste Costs Nothing. So in 3 months after I moved into the house, it was featured in the newspaper. And I decorated the whole house on a $7,000 budget.
Wow.
And that's all the money I had. And then in the article, I told people where I found the stuff at yard sales, estate sales, garbage can. And every store I mentioned in my article sold everything in their store out that day. So when the article came out in Commercial Appeal, the people who I bought the stuff from said, oh my goodness, thank you for mentioning me in the newspaper. I sold everything in my store out that day. And see, after I moved, I don't even come back. I don't even come this way.
Does it just hurt your feelings?
It's sort of kind of. So after my transition from interior design, and those opportunities wasn't here in Memphis, and must remember, we didn't have the internet. So we wasn't connected to every country, every opportunity all over the city, all over the world and all over the United States at that particular time. So there was only certain communities in here in Memphis that understand my products. And certain communities wasn't receiving me selling those products. So I decided to get a job at the zoo. So I got a job at the zoo, and I loved the job at the zoo, and I was in perfect health, riding my bike every day, riding my bike actually to work because it was right down the street from where I live. So I actually happened to have a mild stroke, but they said it was something else, and I came home from work and sort of fell out, and they had to take me to the hospital. So it actually was the first time in my life that I didn't have full control of my life. I didn't have a stroke where my face was deformed or my hands weren't functioning. No, everything was functioning properly except one side of my brain, and it means that the side of my brain that control marketing, thinking, balancing books, balancing numbers. So that was a struggle for me just to figure out how to survive from that. Even having a conversation, answering questions, it wasn't working. But my artistic abilities were already there, and they continue to be there, and they've always been there my entire life. So during this process, I didn't have a job. So not having a job and having an overhead of this big, wonderful mansion and all these wonderful things wasn't doing me no good. And I actually lived in my house 2 years without utilities or lights. So in the daylight, I raised the blinds, and that was my light. I didn't have to pay for it, it was free. And at nighttime, I had collected so many candles, I would create my art under candle lights. And I created a whole line of fashion called Art in the Dark, and it's exactly from that experience. And for years, a couple of years, nobody never knew. And this is the first time I'm sharing that. I realized everybody go through something, and until you understand what other people go through, then you don't understand what life really is about. So I figured this is the time for me to tell another side of me. I'm a visual specialist, so I can make things look so wonderful and so beautiful that you think my life is above the cloud. But the real deal is the behind the curtain, the behind the curtain scene where you really get a chance to say, oh my God, this guy is really gifted and talented, because if he can do this, going through this, I can do anything. Just keep going, whatever happens. This is today, let's see what happens tomorrow. And tomorrow, you might need to take a break, but just keep getting back up. Just keep getting back up, because if I didn't keep getting back up, I probably wouldn't even be here, but I was determined. You close the front door, I go through the back door. You close the back door, I'll crawl through the window. You close the window, I will come under the house. You block the house, I'll come through the chimney. You block the chimney, I'll get someone else to open the door for me. I've had people close the windows, doors, everything on me, and I met one person. One person can change your dynamic. I met one person, and they said, oh, that's what you want to do? They said, come on. And they kicked down so many doors, and so many doors, and so many doors, just with their presence and who they were, and how they were believing in what I do. And believe it or not, that was Babbie Lovett.
So when you start interviewing, I'm gonna run past like this. Every time you start talking, I'm gonna do
You get out of my shop.
Babbie Lovett and myself actually met at Memphis City Beautiful Trash and Show audition. I saw a poster in a window, and the show was, I think, like 2 weeks after I saw the poster. So I called them and said, oh, I'm the Recycle King, y'all don't know? And I went to have a meeting with them and showed them what I was working on.
And that was when I first met Paul Thomas, who basically was a little over the top.
And Babbie was there and she said, oh my goodness.
He was one of those people that immediately I knew understood fashion.
And they said, do you have an email? And I said, no, what's that? Do I need one?
He was out there.
And Babbie said, he don't need an email. He just showed you what he do.
And I thought, we may have to sit on him, but he's got something really special.
And that's sort of kind of how it happened. And I entered the competition, and the first time I didn't win because I wasn't totally sure what they were doing, but I knew I could recycle, and that's what I do, recycle things. But the second time, clean sweep. And I had all kind of obstacles, but the real one always wins. So what I do is always try to create something nobody has seen. And which is extremely difficult because everything's been seen before, everything's been sampled. So I have to go to the drawing board and really figure out, can this happen? I create unusual headpieces. Some things are over the top headpieces. Some dresses are lopsided. Some dresses are made out of ribbons. Some dresses are, everything I create for my show have movement and tells a story. Some pieces will be made out of actually records, and they'll move in a way that you'd be like, I've never seen anything like that, because I always take it to another level. It's never the same. The colors are always so elaborate and so different. It's just always I create curiosity.
Perfect. And in actuality, I need more ribbon. And I just don't have any more. And if I go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's, the ribbon is $5 a roll or $10 a roll, and I refuse to pay that because I can't afford that. So I'll just wait until I find some more ribbon to complete the project. So it's a lot more difficult than what people think. And then the straighter you get it, that means you need more ribbon. Because now you see an empty space that wasn't curled up. So it's like you fight against the wind, and then you get the wind, and you gotta straighten out the wind again. But it's fun, and I like challenging myself, so that's why I really, if it didn't, that keeps me trying to figure out how to make this, how am I gonna make this work? I don't know, let's see. Aimee, you asked the right question. Is it supposed to be curly? No, I really want it sort of straight, but a little curl doesn't hurt. But the straightness just makes it fall, and when you walk, it moves like fringes. But yeah, it always sort of curl up a little bit. So I've got fire headpieces made like fire shooting up out their head. I got some, once it said great balls of fire, I've got balls, red balls, and then they've got these big cuffs that goes on their hand, look like with fire shooting out of it. So it should be, and when they, like I said, when they move, so on the mannequin it's stationary, but when they move, then you get movement. And when the model is, all that happens, and that's the excitement. And then I may even use this in here eventually, but not as a fringe, but I may put it on something else. Because I pulled this fabric out and said I was gonna use it for something, and I don't have any more red ribbon, so it may end up being some ribbon. Yeah. I'll just split it some more, and it takes time, but what happens is the closer I get to the show and I know I'm not finding what I need, then I'll just dig and use whatever I've got. Right. So far so good, and it took me months to find the red ribbon for this, because it took about 50 rows of red ribbon. I go to yard sale and I get them in the whole rows, and I'm particular about the type of ribbon I get because the ribbon does certain things. Yeah. So, and then I just have to wait, and then I'll find one piece here, one little roll there, but I just keep collecting. So I'm excited about life. Life is so good. Just do what you do. And that's really what makes me excited. Yeah, just doing what I do. Look what I'm doing. This is my life dream. This is all I've wanted to do since I was 5 years old. Be a fashion designer. And in the 70s, when I was talking about being a designer, people said you should be having a regular job. I worked at the post office. I quit them 5 times because it didn't make sense. This makes sense for me. And this is my gift by God. So this is actually what I was supposed to be doing. So at the age I am at now, I'm still struggling, but I'm still creating wonderful fashions to share with the world.
My next event is a tribute to Memphis music, and it's going to be on Beal Street. It's about giving back to the community that's given so much to the world. So excited just to have that opportunity to share my art and my designs with Beal Street to be able to share with the world.
In the black and white, that's what we're going in. Okay, Gracee, put your hand on the strings, like Beonka. Look at Beonka. Okay, but y'all ready? Look at me.
Memphis has had so many artists impact the world through their music, in movies, in art, Shaft, 3-6 Mafia, Bruno Mars. All their music was inspired and created here in Memphis.
Just go right there. Come on, Beonka. Right. Come on, go this way. Y'all walk that way. Walk that way. Walk this way. Walk this way. Let's do it in waist bucket. Let's see if that's good.
Good. Yeah.
I'm just sort of showing you. Yeah.
If the show starts at 2 or 1, I'm usually there at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm there to make sure the stage is clean, the air is prepped. Then we have chairs delivered. They have to be set up.
So actually, I done set everything up, except the curtains, by my damn self, basically. Like I always do, but I learned if you don't do it, it don't get done. Perhaps they probably can take this out, because those need to be spread out anyway.
So it's a process of making sure the behind the scene is just as comfortable as what you see above the scene.
And I think it's
Well, good morning. When I tell you, I'm ready, so when I hung the clothes up, I was looking, I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out, not now, Julian, give me a break, because I'm still trying to get in, because it's like panic mode. I gotta take me a break, and then I'm gonna get somebody to start taking the stuff down off the stage, because so much shit going on, so.
So just the concrete walkway is the runway. And then whatever, and we may add more chairs. So it's all
Yeah, and then they'll come out that side and go this way. You know, because one's left, one's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, everything's happened, but it's going to be, anytime all this stuff happens, it'd be the most fabulous show ever. Just like, look, even the track, anytime stuff happens, it'd be the best.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay.
All right, Mom. See you later.
Hey.
Oh.
He's first.
See you later.
And let me find out he's first, so I need him dressed first. Okay, we saw the fool back here. Come on, we gotta keep moving. I can't get in and out. Hold on. Set it up there on the counter somewhere. Okay, what you need?
Do you want him in the plain pants or the?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
I like the color, I like the pop.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see who I need next. Right here. Okay, right there. So the two guys come out first. Okay, you stay right there, Jamie. Because then what I have, if y'all lined up, it make it easy for me so I don't have to figure out where you belong. Then they won't get confused. Yeah. That's all. So we're just trying to make it easy. Okay, hold on, Jerry. Do I need some help? Okay. Please stay in line. I've got to get through here. This showtime. Shh, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a tribute to Memphis music by the Recycle King, Paul Thomas.
I built a rocket in my basement. I'm gonna fly it to the moon. This supersonic is amazing. You're gonna feel my sonic boom. I'm flying higher and I'm never coming down. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me. We brought the funk into this function. Yeah. We show up dressing to the nines. Okay. Never need an introduction. No matter what, we're feeling fine. I'm flying high and I'm never coming down. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. I can't stop. I'm never giving up because I'm way too hot to not be at the top. I can't stop. I'm never giving up because I'm way too hot to not be at the top. I'm flying higher and I'm never coming down.
I've waited for years for this opportunity. This didn't just happen overnight. I've dreamed and dreamed. I'm a dreamer. So I've dreamed and dreamed about doing a show in Beal Street. And people are like, oh, you can't do that. How are you going to do that?
Look at me now.
You know I walk fast. I'm ready.
Can't stop. I'm never giving up because I'm way too hot to not be at the top. Can't stop. I'm never giving up because I'm way too hot to not be at the top. I'm flying higher and I'm never coming down. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now.
This particular show was so much different than my other shows because this was totally my show. Most of the shows that I've done for the last 20 or 30 years, they were fundraisers. I didn't have to do anything besides show up. Bring my clothes, show up. I had people that did marketing, publicity, put out posters, the ads. This show, I had to do everything. You know, come on, Sam. And then hope I'll swap out, you swap. Come on, baby, help me get in here. You move too slow and my mouth's hot, honey. It was so overwhelmingly exciting to see the reception of the community that I've lived in my entire life. It was well deserved. I mean, it was, I can't even explain how I felt because it was actually a dream that came true. My family were able to come to my fashion show, the tribute to Memphis music, and it's the first time they've ever seen one of my shows. From the age of 5 to 60, they never have seen one of my fashion shows. They never attended. So for that to happen, for this event, was overwhelming and especially special to me because they understood it, but they finally got a chance to see it.
That girl been since 7, I'm tired of here.
No, let him say
I'm a good actor. I'm a good actor.
That you are.
And they even said it was wonderful. So that was extremely emotional for me. And, you know, I just had to catch my breath and thank God and the universe for allowing me to see this day, because people don't understand when people have dreams and hopes, and when they know they have a vision and they're their own provider and supporter of their dream and vision. And sometimes you can't explain it to people, but you can show them better than you can tell them. So I always could be able to show you better than I can tell you. Then once I show you, people are amazed, but they still don't get it. Because they think, oh, that was beautiful, but this is still just a hobby. No, this is my life ambition, my life goal, and until the day I die, I'll be doing this.